Conservatives and the far right are obsessed with triggering the libs, but they are absolutely terrible at it. Their success rate is close to zero. Literally, their only victories have come by nominating or electing alleged sex offenders to positions of power. And of course bringing us such delights as Brexit and the slow dismantling of the NHS. In fact, the right and the far right are so bad at owning the libs that the US ambassador to the United Nations and member of Trump's cabinet, Nikki Haley, begged young conservatives to simply stop trying because it doesn't work. It persuades nobody to their way of thinking. And, I'd like to add, it's fucking embarrassing for them. However, her plea was somewhat of a self-own in itself, as Ms. Haley was appearing at a Turning Point USA conference, whose main members, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, are literally paid to write cringe-worthy tweets and memes blaming the left for simply everything.
Okay, you're trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking,
no,
why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a socialist.
The point is larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a
Hey,
capitalist,
hey, hey.
I live when I believe.
No.
What do? I get charity every single year.
Hold on.
What's my salary?
Hold on.
Less than his.
Charlie, take
Come on,
a seat.
Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
What are you doing?
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Psycho?
All right, no. Take a seat. You're gonna take a seat. You're gonna take a seat over here.
Oh my God.
What's my salary?
All right.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, behave, everyone. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
The guy who was asked his salary there is Charlie Kirk, a man who is predominantly known as the guy who wore a nappy/diaper, if you're American, in front of a university and was ridiculed online for it. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my favourite small, quick self-owns from conservatives, Republicans, the right, the far right, all those kind of people, mainly political commentators online. And then we'll build up to my personal favourite top 3 conservative and far right self-owns of 2018, which I'll be explaining and analysing and laughing at in more depth at the end of the video. Now, inevitably, I will miss out a few self-owns that made you laugh in 2018 because there's just so many to cover. I have to drop quite a lot of them for time purposes. But if you do feel that I've missed a very, very funny one that's not mentioned in this video, please leave a comment below, and you never know, we might make a follow-up video for this, or we can just have a discussion in the comment section about how lame some of these conservatives are. So without further ado, let's start with a nice, cuddly, fluffy embarrassment by Republicans with the hideous Trumpy bear. Show your patriotism with a new Trumpy bear. Don't miss out on owning a piece of American history. I think they've misspelled a piece of shit there, haven't they? It's really quite a disgraceful looking toy. And why fill a toy with stuffing when you can put an entire American flag in its back? Why not give the toy to someone with dementia? Or have a grown woman brush its hair? Jesus. Your Trump bear comes with a certificate of authenticity, or, as it's known amongst other people, a very posh receipt. And if all of those things aren't embarrassing enough, you'll be very pleased to know that the Trumpy bear who wants to make America great again was made in China. Of course he fucking was. Now moving on to that's Professor Jordan Peterson, who is well known as being the stupid person's smart man, the person that dumb people go to for life advice. Now, Peterson is well known for constantly saying stupid things and being ridiculed by the left. And one of his biggest owns in 2018 was the fact that he's a high-ranking academic who demands to be taken seriously, but he doesn't think that men and women can work together because of lipstick.
Here's a rule. How about no makeup in the workplace?
Why would that be a rule?
Why should you wear makeup in the workplace?
I mean, there literally is a clip of him saying that, but if you were to quote his words verbatim, you'll be accused of taking them out of context, somehow. Now, Jordan Peterson is constantly saying stuff like porn is bad, don't stay away from porn, it's really not very good for you. And later, in December 2018, he appeared in Penthouse, which is a pornographic magazine. Now, I need to clear 2 things up at this point for any millennials watching. A magazine is like a bunch of internet articles and advertising, all bunched together on paper, but it's not for free, and you have to get off your arse to go and buy one. Just Google it, trust me on that one. And secondly, I must stress that Jordan Peterson wasn't appearing naked in Penthouse magazine, because that would be horrific. But if he had decided to get his junk out in a photo shoot, and the internet responded with disgust, as it should do, I'm sure his fans would defend him by claiming you have to look at lots and lots of photos of his penis and testicles to truly understand his message, and you have taken his shriveled ballsack out of context. Let's have our first quick glimpse into far-right self-owns. Now, the Proud Boys is the name of a violent racist hate group of supposed alpha males, and here's one of them failing to rip up an anti-fascism sign that's been laminated.
Come on, you work so hard. You're so close.
Wait, I want a video.
You're so, oh, the other way. You gotta, I think I gotta do it again. There you go.
You can do it. He'll get it.
You've been doing a lot of arm work at the gym, right? This is...
Do it!
You know, this is a very educated city. There's a lot of engineers in this city. You can get a lot of help. You can't do it. You know, Amazon's down the street. They got a lot of engineers who could help you. I am putting this to buzz. Oh my god. Oh.
Oh, this is going viral.
Hey, genius, why don't you take the lid off?
Yeah,
Take the lid off. Pry it open. There you go. You needed a liberal to help you with that, dude. You're too fucking stupid to figure it out on your own. No, throw it away. No, please. You've worked so hard. Throw it away. You've worked so hard. We've done it together. Come on, we're bonded now. Come on, you can do it. You're so close. You're so close. Try the other one. Look, there's no lid on that one. Come on, you can do it. There's no lid on that one. Come on, do it for the boys. They're not so proud of you right now. Don't you want to make them proud? Come on. Oh, you're going to keep it? Oh, keep it under your pillow. Come on, rip it. Come on, rip it. Rip it.
The superior race, ladies and gentlemen. Back to Conservatives, and one name that we all know in 2018 is Gun Girl. That's not her correct name, that's just what she's known as. A girl that probably wouldn't get the irony that the words gun control contain a trigger for American conservatives. Now, this young lady takes her guns on walks, she sleeps with her guns, she bathes with her guns. She's basically that particular episode of The Simpsons where Homer becomes a gun nut, but instead of just being an episode, it's her entire life. Now, she's done loads of embarrassing things in 2018. This photo from December of that year is a particularly strange one to post online. And there are so many owns to choose from, but I'm going to go with this particular one as my favourite. Nothing would make feminists angrier than buying this shirt. Let me just repeat that. Nothing, key word there, nothing would make feminists angrier than buying this shirt. Wait until Gun Girl learns about a thing called the patriarchy. It's going to blow her mind. Because that tends to annoy feminists a little bit more than cheap-looking clothing and a desperate need to grift your fans. If anything, that's not annoying, it's quite funny to us. As a side note, here is a fan of Gun Girl. He sent a tweet saying, "Happy birthday to our founder, Gun Girl. Come by our table today in the student centre, here until 3. I've got some bad news for you. She's not going to fuck you, Billy. Okay? Now let's talk about Generation Identity, a far-right bigoted group run by Brittany Pettibone, Lauren Southern, Martin Sellner and other fascists. They had a particularly cringeworthy event in Europe this year, and here's a tweet that says, "Defend Europe Mission Alps has officially begun with approximately 100 Generation Identity activists from all across Europe shutting down illegal immigration at the French-Italian border. #Defend Europe. But how did they do it exactly? Well, they erected a flimsy plastic mesh fence that's held together with, wait for it, staples. Now, a light breeze could knock over this fence, but if you're an immigrant, you could easily hurdle it as well, couldn't you? And this is proof that it doesn't matter how embarrassing these people are. As long as they're targeting a particular group of people that they know their supporters hate, they will get full support from their supporters. Financially, they get all the attention they could ever want, and they keep on going, no matter how stupid their antics are. Now, no roundup of self-owns would not be complete without at least one tweet from Ian Miles Chong. Here's an example of him being brutally owned online from one of his tweets, and him totally not being mad in any way whatsoever. So what he wrote was, "Tell me something I don't know," with a selfie, and a lady called Taco Aficionado replied, "What a real vagina looks like." A day later, he posted a tweet that says, "Life's good when the culture war shows up at your doorstep." What does that mean? To make fun of your selfie, because aimless people need a purpose in life without wanting to put any effort whatsoever into making it better. Who does that sound like, Ian? Do you own a mirror? So you just look at them smugly knowing you're living rent-free in their heads. No, mate, you posted a thing that could easily be mocked. And it was. Now here's an article from Vanity Fair. A hoax designed to distract the nation. How the Jacob Wohl saga explains what's deranged about MAGA. The downside of internet populism is that anyone, no matter how inept, can be a major part of the movement, especially if the FBI gets involved. The existential dread that typically dominates Twitter was briefly replaced on Tuesday by a burst of schadenfreude at the expense of Jacob Wohl, a 20-year-old MAGA troll whose renown largely derives from his hyperbolic replies to Donald Trump's tweets. But in 2018, he was unexpectedly implicated in a bizarre plot to smear special counsel Robert Mueller as a sexual predator. It's a very strange one, this one, but on October 17, 2018, a number of journalists reportedly received an email from Lorraine Parsons alleging that she had been contacted by a man claiming to work for a firm called Surefire Intelligence. And that's a very funny own in itself when you see what's coming up in a minute. Surefire Intelligence. It was on behalf of a GOP Republican operative called Jack Burkham, who had offered her substantial sums of money to make false allegations about Mueller. Yet no reporters were able to verify that Lorraine is a real person. Surefire Intelligence also appeared to be fake. When NBC News investigated, they found the website was registered to Wohl's email. A phone number on the site went to a voicemail that provided another number listed as belonging to Wohl's mother. In perhaps the most amateurish element of the whole sordid episode, internet sleuths quickly discovered that the headshots of Surefire's purported employees actually belonged to celebrities including Israeli model Bar Raffaeli and Austrian actor Christoph Waltz. A photograph of Matthew Cohen, allegedly a managing partner at Surefire Intelligence, is simply a darkened image of Jacob Wohl himself. Soon afterwards, Mueller's office asked the FBI to investigate the scheme. There's a chance from all of this that Jacob Wohl could end up in prison for a very long time, all because he is inept at owning the libs like so many conservatives before him. Not only that, but the bloke who stood next to Jacob Wohl had his flies undone for the entire press conference they held after the incorrect allegations came out. Okay, it's now time for my top 3 owns from 2018. And at number 3 is the NPC meme. The idea behind the meme is everybody essentially appears the same online if they're left-leaning. They all say the same thing about how Trump is bad, complain about him, complain about MAGA people, complain about conservatives and so forth. Therefore, they all sound the same, like a bunch of robots, all programmed to say the same thing. Unfortunately, where this slips up is the fact that right-wing people, especially conservative and far-right commentators, that's their whole grift, to say the same things over and over and over and over again. And they simply do not get the irony that they're calling some people one thing when they do exactly the same thing themselves. If you've ever been called a regressive leftist by 500 different people, if you've ever been called a libtard, a commie, a socialist, even if you're not even that left-wing, if you're a woman, you've been called a feminazi in the past, which obviously would lead you to become a Nazi, because if you are called one, you will become one. That's the logic from the conservatives, although I've not seen a lot of Nazi feminists since they started calling you that. It's like they're saying, guys, I've made a sweet meme that proves that liberals are a homogenous group of emotionless dullards who say the same things over and over and over and over again. Those SJW cucks will be so triggered. Free Kekistan! Attack helicopters! Anita Sarkeesian! This guy has made a Halloween costume, which is him dressed as an NPC thing, plus he's wearing a communist t-shirt and holding a flag that was popular about a year and a half ago amongst internet bigots, and really died a death on the day it was born. So he's really, it's no wonder he looks so sad in this picture, isn't it? Now here's a massive irony when Jared Holt spotted two folks that have NPC shirts on. They don't know each other and accidentally matched. I'm pretty certain they don't spot the irony in that picture, do they? This tweet I wrote essentially sums it up. Me saying, wow, that NPC stuff is the ultimate cell phone. Troll number 1 says, I see we triggered you. Troll number 2 says, I see we triggered you. Troll number 3 says, I see we triggered you. And me saying, guys, But I think my favourite was when Ben & Jerry's brought out an ice cream called Pecan Resist. It was basically a fundraising drive with a new flavour of ice cream to resist the Trump administration. The partners included Colour of Change, Honour the Earth, NETA, and of course the Women's March. Now this ice cream isn't harming anybody, it's just a way to raise money and awareness. Also, Ben & Jerry's has got a history of left-wing activism and left-wing support. For example, Ben & Jerry's supports the Black Lives Matter movement, they supported Bernie Sanders as well, but either because conservative commentators are lazy, or because they're forgetful, or slightly detract from their piss-taking that's coming up in a second, they decided not to include any of that information in their memes and attacks on Ben & Jerry's. And it's always hilarious whenever any company stands up to Donald Trump or criticises him in any way, because you'll get MAGA people breaking expensive coffee machines in protest, boycotting Starbucks because the cups aren't Christmassy enough. You'll get them destroying their sportswear because a black man has been used in an advertising campaign. And in this one, they decided to create their own NPC-themed carton of ice cream. And they're just there staring at a bowl of Ben & Jerry's that they bought, angrily shouting, "Debate me, you vanilla bastard, debate me!" Of course, last Liberal Dave Rubin got involved by saying, "I've eaten my last pint of Ben & Jerry's. Way to hold Trump's feet to the fire again, sir. Anyone who doesn't support their far-left political agenda should consider that too." I mean, just Google Ben & Jerry's and you'll see that they've got a Stephen Colbert ice cream range, and they've had that for over a decade. You couldn't get anyone more left-wing than him. And you're just completely ignoring that, or you're just so dumb that you don't know it, or you've done no research before complaining like a pussy online, just to get likes from MAGA chuds, you know? You had boring internet commentators who, surprisingly, are still active, complaining about the ice cream. And surely, guys, there is nothing more NPC than thousands and thousands of dickheads saying Ice Cream Man is bad because far left. Nothing NPC about that whatsoever, I think we'll all agree. At number 2, it's a group of far-right people joining a dead far-right party to own the libs. I'm glad I talked about Rubin just a second ago and then moved on to Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad. Now, if you don't know who he is, I'm envious of you. He's one of the people like Dave Rubin who claims for a long period of time to be a liberal, to be left-wing, but really we all knew he was a conservative. In Carl's case, he proves that with a mini own of his own by showing a picture of him cutting up his Conservative Party member card, right, which you definitely would have if you're a liberal, right, and then showing off his UKIP card. Now, UKIP, if you don't know, is a far-right party which is, fair to say, in the doldrums of late. Nigel Farage, who you probably do know, left the party after Brexit was announced, after the vote, and since then there has literally been no point to the party called the United Kingdom Independence Party. They've got exactly what they wanted, and now their existence is pointless. But in order to get attention and possibly to own the libs somehow, a group of far-right people, Count Dankula, the guy who taught his dog to do a Nazi salute, Paul Joseph Watson, conspiracy theorist and former friend of Alex Jones, and Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, all decided to join UKIP on a whim. I've officially joined UKIP and plan to take it over in a soft coup which would lead to the total restoration of freedom in the United Kingdom. Mum saying, not now, dear, not now. Mum, not now, just wait a minute. Mum. And she ignores me, and I just declare that, right, that's it. I've got no choice but to join UKIP now. Thanks a lot. It's all about going against your political beliefs because some people called you a far-right person or a Nazi, and to prove them wrong, you go and join UKIP. Inevitably, people like me will talk about it and take the piss out of them, and they don't care if it's embarrassing because they literally have no shame. As long as this generates views for them on YouTube, gets them a Twitter following, and ideally makes them some money, they're thinking, who gives a shit?
And I'm excited to learn that a number of big-name social influencers have joined the party. I'd like to welcome Paul Joseph Watson, Sargon of Akkad, Count Dankula, and Milo Yiannopoulos to our party. Now, if you're not a social media animal, some of these names may seem a bit strange.
A man called Neil Hamilton, who is a ridiculous figure in the UK. He's ridiculed all the time, or at least he was when he was famous. He's kind of faded into obscurity for the last decade. And if I was a cutting-edge internet personality, I get an old man who most people have forgotten about to welcome me to a political party that most people have forgotten about. I'm certain that will trigger the libs, because it simply has to. I'm all out of other ideas. And of course, Neil Hamilton wrote a tweet saying, I'd like to welcome Paul Joseph Watson, Sargon and Count Dankula and Milo. Yeah, we forgot about the fact that he's a part of UKIP, but he's so toxic that we've not seen him in any promotional videos, materials, posters, anything. It seems that they may have brushed that one under the carpet because no one wants to associate him with him anymore. Prove me wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I look forward to them developing truly dank memes that will trigger lefty lovies like Gary Lineker and James O'Brien and their politically correct establishment chums. And proof, if any is needed, that these people have joined a political party to just troll some people. Another own happened when this poster/promotional material was released for the brand new UKIP with the slogan, the party of British values, and 3 of the most miserable looking cunts you've ever seen in your life. Having a face like a slapped arse to own the libs? Okay. The current leader of UKIP has recently employed Tommy Robinson. It meant that Nigel Farage, who left the party quite some time ago, has come out and condemned the appointment. Gerard Batten, when asked if the party was becoming tainted with Islamophobia, said the following thing: Islamophobia is a made-up word. I don't have an irrational fear of Islam, nor does Tommy Robinson. 2 points. Number 1, he clearly does. That's his entire grift. His entire grift is to make others scared of Islam. And number 2, you said Islamophobia is a made-up word. I've got news for you, mate. All words are made up. Oh, God. I would be very interested to know where they go next. How lame can this go? That is the question that I want answered. Anyway, this leads us to the number 1 spot. And I'm very pleased to announce the winner is the Sadiq Khan balloon. Now, the reason why I've chosen the Sadiq Khan balloon as the first place self-owned of 2018 is because it's actually 13 small self-owns that make up one big own. Right, let me explain. It turns out the Sadiq Khan balloon, which was a backlash against the Donald Trump balloon, which flew over London and various other cities in the world in the summer, it turns out it wasn't yet another conservative grift that leads nowhere. All the money gets given to a conservative and nothing happens. Because they actually went and made one. But while the Trump balloon was a perfect example of satire, the Khan version is anything but. Please allow me to explain. The Trump balloon, a huge, orange angry man baby gripping his phone for dear life is a perfect summation of Trump. It's great satire and it's funny too. We knew well in advance about the Trump baby balloon design. It was all over the news, but counter-protesters themselves took many weeks to crowdfund the Sadiq Khan balloon, and they flew it more than a month after Trump's visit. That's mini self-own number one. Time-wise, it doesn't make any sense. Number two, it's not the design that was promised on the crowdfunder, which still says the balloon would be a baby mayor, just like the Trump balloon was a baby. The design makes no sense. It's just copying the Trump balloon with a few small changes. Did the organiser realise the flaw and change the design? Is that allowed? You've promised a baby balloon, but you delivered something completely different. Something that makes no sense. Number three. The design was changed to an adult version of Sadiq Khan, complete with chest hair and arm hair. And he's wearing a bikini too. But why? Why the fuck is he wearing a bikini? Does anybody know? Good jokes shouldn't need an explanation. That's why the Trump balloon works so well. However, the Khan balloon has to come with a fucking footnote for you to understand what's going on here. It's actually a reference to an advertisement Sadiq Khan banned on the London Underground. Do you remember the Beachbody Ready advert for weight loss supplements and the response that aren't all bodies Beachbody ready because all you need to do is go down to the beach and you've got a beach body? It was argued that the advert promoted an unhealthy body image, and for both of those reasons it was banned. And that is why the inflatable Khan balloon is wearing a bikini. Yeah. Because of a decision he made over 2 years ago that we've all forgotten about. People were angered by the Trump balloon because it was petty. People like Piers Morgan, who cried and cried and cried about it. But isn't the Khan balloon even more petty? You need to explain to everybody who asks why he's wearing a bikini, because literally no one will get the reference otherwise. Unbelievable. But there's more. Here's another mini own for you. Sadiq Khan himself approved the flight of the Trump balloon. That angered people on the right and far right, saying that he would never have given permission for that balloon if it ridiculed Barack Obama, and yet he approved the flight of a balloon that ridicules himself, Sadiq Khan. God bless free speech, eh guys? Another own. Sadiq Khan, it turns out, was not even slightly owned by the balloon, when he said, if people want to spend their Saturday looking at me in a yellow bikini, they're welcome to do so. I don't really think yellow's my colour though. This has got to hurt so far for the far right and conservatives. But they continued. Why on earth did they give the Sadiq Khan balloon a Hulk Hogan pose? Can anyone explain that to me? Have you ever seen Sadiq Khan posing like this in real life? But it gets better and better and better. Only a handful of people turned up for the balloon launch. Compare that to the thousands of people who attended the anti-Trump march where the Trump balloon flew. The guy who's pointing at the balloon in the forefront here is the organiser and quote-unquote free speech advocate, Yanni Beret, who in a time-honoured tradition promoted the balloon, and it was immediately revealed he had written anti-Semitic tweets in the past. Imagine my shock. But don't worry guys, quote, speak out against the Jews at your peril, end quote, was simply taken out of context, says Yanni. Speak out against the Jews at your peril, you know who's in control when you're not allowed to speak about them. Hashtag Jews run the world, it said Yanni Beret. An older chap says, for a law student, this is an incredibly stupid thing to say. A, anti-Semitic. B, obviously wrong. C, you just waved a law career goodbye. To which he posts a smiley, laughing face in response. Also, please ignore the hook nose that they gave Sadiq Khan. A hook nose. Why? You know, there's absolutely no dog whistles with this balloon at all. I'm sure we'll all agree. I absolutely love how badly the event went. It was basically £60,000, which is about $90,000, pissed down the drain. The far right could cure depression if they put on events like this once a week. Please continue trying to own the libs. It was hilarious. But the thing is, Yanni Beret, the organiser of this event, doesn't even live in England or Britain. He posts a string of anti-Semitic tweets from Spain. He's not even a resident here. But to make it even better, the guy who crowdfunded this Sadiq Khan balloon quit his managerial job to own the libs. This article says to coordinate the blimp plan, Mr. Beret quit his job in Barcelona where he was working as a sales development manager. He said, "I was told I wasn't allowed the time off I needed to be able to make the balloon happen." So, he failed to trigger a single lib, and now he is completely unemployed. Wow. I tell you what, guys, they come over here unemployed, looking for handouts, and then they make a balloon and everyone laughs at them. It's an absolute disgrace. Now, I mentioned Piers Morgan crying earlier about the Trump balloon. He posted this tweet when the balloon went past a statue of Winston Churchill. "Winston Churchill has been reduced to this. Shame on everyone involved in this pathetic balloon stunt." Now, I don't know if you're aware, but Piers Morgan has got his tongue shoved so far up Trump's arse he can taste hairspray. And God bless the public who then sent Piers Morgan reply after reply after reply, photoshopping the Trump baby balloon in place of actual Donald Trump. So that's 13 owns in total related to the Sadiq Khan balloon. It's very rare that you get that much embarrassment from one event, but God bless the far right and conservatives. They can pull it out of the bag every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like, share it around on social media. You can contact me on Twitter if you wish, at ASM_antisocial. The links are below. And if you want to throw me a few dollars for making this video, you thought it was quite entertaining and you want your name to be read out at the end, like the following people, then you can do this a number of ways. You can join my Patreon, which for people who don't say the N-word is going quite well. In 2019, I'm only uploading videos once every 6 to 8 weeks, which means you only get charged every 6 to 8 weeks, which means over the course of the year, if you only give $1 per video, you're charged about $7 for the whole year. It's not too bad. You can send me a one-off payment via PayPal if you prefer. Or you can buy me a coffee via the Ko-Fi thing, which no one has used yet, but, you know, it's there if you want it. Until next time, laters, baters.